Hey, Ag Teacher Thoughts here, coming at you with another video. This is another off-topic video. So I am not a gold miner, I'm not a gold prospector, I am a high school shop teacher, but it's summertime and I'm kind of bored. And the other thing about me is I always love to learn, experiment, and gain knowledge. So as a part of that, I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTubers that have things that I'm interested in. Maybe not necessarily something that I actively participate in, but at least it's something that holds my interest. Now, my interest in this new hobby, in this video series, actually started long ago when the Discovery Channel's Gold Rush show came out. Now, the Hoffmans, they lived not far from where I grew up. I grew up outside of Canby, Oregon, and the Hoffmans are in Sandy, Oregon. So they were 40-ish minutes from me. My sister also lived in Sandy at the time and did on occasion run into the Hoffmans. In fact, she helped invite them to an event where I got a gold pan, I'll show off later in the series, that was signed by a lot of the first season cast members, a lot of those that are not on the channel anymore. So since that time of watching Gold Rush, I've started watching YouTubers, Dan Hurd, Vogus out of Australia, Jeff Williams, Klesh. Those are a lot of the gold miners and gold prospectors that I enjoy watching. So because I've moved to an area that is actually known for gold, so I'm just outside of a gold producing region. Orofino, Idaho was where the first gold strike in Idaho was. And the town I live in, which is Lewiston, Idaho, this town really was founded because of the Orofino gold rush. A lot of the supplies were brought up here and then put on ships or mules or horses and then packed up to the gold producing region. So really this area is kind of driven by gold, which is why I've kind of re-sparked my interest in it. So today we're going to build something that is another Home Depot hack, and this one is going to be a Home Depot sluice hack, so a gold sluice hack. So I went in, and because I don't like to spend a lot of money on brief hobbies or experiments, I decided that I was going to see what I could find that was cheap to build a sluice out of at Home Depot. Before this, I did go to one of our local sporting goods stores, and I did find sluices that they had there. You could buy a sluice for $89. I don't want to spend $89 on a short video series that's an experiment that's completely off topic from my channel. So instead, I went to the hardware section of Home Depot, even though Home Depot is all hardware, and I picked up a few things that I felt I could make a cheap sluice out of. The first thing that I need is a frame or structure for a sluice. And then I picked up this Amerimax flip up, what do they call it? They call it a dripper flipper. And this was like $5.88. And then because of that, you also need to have something to hold down your gold mats. And I was in the same section and I found this really small expanded metal, which I'm going to use as the top of my riffles. And this was $3 something. Then I needed carpeting, and I looked through, I built a gold sluice a long time ago when I first started watching Gold Rush, but when I moved, I did throw that away, so I needed gold sluice matting or carpeting. And as I went through there, I was looking at the prices of it, you know, $150 a yard of this, $99 a yard for this, and just nothing really matched what I was looking for, and I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money. And I had settled that I was going to use a small sluice run. And then as I was looking, I found carpet samples. And what's really cool about that is these carpet samples are a little bit larger than my sluice, so I can actually cut them to fit in the bottom of my sluice run. And I got all sorts of different types. So there was well, different textures, different lengths, all sorts of different lengths. And I realized, I was like, gosh, you know what? Why don't I grab a whole bunch of these and put them in my sluice, and I'll see which one of them performs the best for me. And then when I want to make an official sluice, I'll know which one to use. And the other thing with gold, listening to Dave Turin on some of his, is you need to have different textures and different speeds of water to allow the gold to drop out at different times. So these are all sorts of different textures of matting material that I could put at the bottom of my sluice. So it's a win-win-win. So what we're going to do is we're going to start putting this all together. And oh, I told you it was going to be cheap. So carpet samples, free. This one, $5.88. This $3 something and change. This was, I think, $10.96 with, or excuse me, $9.96 with tax. So we're under $10 for this little sluice. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend some time putting this together, and then we're going to go back up where I've got some dry grass, and we can set this up, and I can let my water overflow into the yard where I'm going to water it anyway, and see how successful this is for a gold sluice. Anyway, I hope you're going to enjoy this series, and let's set up and see if we can do a little bit of work. We're set up a little bit more here, and I'll show you what I have in my plan for my gold sluice. So I'm going to have the water come in here. I'm going to make an adjuster and block off this end so I don't get any water that's exiting out there or sand that's exiting out. So I may just use this to hold my water. I will adjust my slope using some blocks. But what I need to figure out now is my matting or my carpeting at the bottom of the sluice. So one of the things I noticed is with my material, it's at all different heights, which is great because it's going to give different points for the gold to drop out of the flow. But the problem is with these different heights, if I were to just come in and put my expanded metal over the top, some of these are going to have giant gaps in the middle of them, and it's not going to hold the matting down, and it might lift up and flop and move around or collect too much sand there. So what I need to do is I'm going to actually trim these down so that they just fit the width of my sluice. So I'm going to take these, trim them down. They'll fit the bottom of my sluice. And then I'll take and cut little sections of our expanded metal to put over the top of those to hold them down. And I'll make sure that they kind of daisy chain as they go down our sluice. That way I could put different heights in different locations. So I've gone ahead and done one already. I took some of this matting and I found what width it needs to be at the bottom. I went ahead and trimmed it, and then I cut some of the expanded metal for the same. Now, when you look at the expanded metal, there's an angle that it goes at, and you want to make sure that that angle is pointing downstream. So I flattened this all out by hand, make sure it's there, and it will go over my carpeting just like that. So it'll fit in there, and I'll have these so that they lap over one another, and we've got plenty of spaces for that gold to drop out. So anyway, that's the plan right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend the next few minutes cutting those out, and then we will take a look and see where we're at, and I'll show you the finished product. But that's the plan for our $10 gold sluice. A bunch of those all together, and we'll take a look and see how well this works. I don't know. I might have cut some of these too narrow. Hey, it's an experiment though, and we'll see how it works. So we're just about done with our construction of our dripper flipper sluice box run, and the last thing I'm doing is doing a little bit more of the expanded metal. I've been coming in and making tabs with those. Coming in and cutting. Let's get that cut off. Cutting out little tabs. And then I'll go in and fasten those to a board so that all of that give them a little bit of a bend. And then I'll go in and I'll put screws in the front and the back of each one of them, so that it holds down my carpeting material. and doesn't allow it to float out while we're doing it. So this is going to be our experiment sluice, and we'll see how it goes, and then we'll just go ahead and I'll run all 200 pounds of that sand, and we'll see what it looks like. So that's going to happen in the next video. So I will link that in a little bit. It's going to take me a little while to get that set up, and I'll do a third video for that. So anyway, I hope you're going to remain curious just as much as I am here on this experiment of whether or not I can find enough gold in the sand from my Home Depot bulk pallet purchase of discard materials, the sand, the soil, the gravel, and things like that. If I can find $40 worth of gold, it'll make the entire thing free, of course, minus the cost of my sluice. So anyway, I hope you stay tuned to our off-topic videos. Ag Teacher Thoughts out.